United States of America, a country as big as it is powerful, and one that seems to have influence over every single part of our planet, for better or worse. And one that, despite the many criticisms and many jokes that it's subjected to from other nations around the world, mostly from Europe, it has a famous or notorious food culture. While this food may not always be to the taste of those who were born and reside out with the home of the brave, none of us can deny the impact and the influence that American foodstuffs and American cuisine in general have had across the world, especially over the last 50 years. Whether you're thinking of the obvious enormous international names such as McDonald's, Starbucks, Subway, Taco Bell, Ben & Jerry's, Five Guys, Krispy Kreme, the list goes on and on and on. Or whether you're thinking of the dishes that have just bled into the rest of the world. Think pulled pork, think loaded fries, think hot dogs, think the various kinds of American pizza, think red velvet cake, think chocolate chip cookies, think brownies. Personally speaking, one of my favorite sweet treats both to bake and to eat. The chocolate brownie is unrivaled in rich chocolate dessert options. Whether it's at home, whether it's in a restaurant, whether it's in a coffee shop, they are everywhere. You might like them dark, rich and fudgy. You might like them sweet and cakey and a little bit crisp on top. However you take them, you'll find them somewhere near you. And it's for that very reason that today, in celebrating US cuisine, we celebrate the US dessert, the chocolate brownie. Allegedly invented in the state of Illinois in the late 1800s, the brownie wasn't really made famous or named properly until several years later, but since then has managed to touch the palates of us all. Today I'm sharing with you as close as I can to the original, or supposedly original, brownie recipe, using semi-sweet chocolate, eggs, flour, sugar, cocoa to make a sweet, delicious, crisp on top, chewy and fudgy underneath, classic American brownie. It's not the quickest bake in the world, but it's certainly a simple one that even if your hands have never yet been useful in a kitchen, I'm sure they could manage this one. Let's get into it.
Our brownies begin with butter, ideally at room temperature, just to help melting even easier. To that, you're just going to add a delicious amount of semi-sweet chocolate that's not too milky, not too dark, and melt them gently together until smooth before adding your sugar. Now, this is much more sugar than I would normally use in my brownie recipe, but this isn't my brownie recipe. This is the classic brownie recipe. To that, you're going to want to add your eggs in just one at a time, making sure to stir them in till they're nice and smooth. Also adding some vanilla bean paste or vanilla extract, whichever your budget allows for. Again, just until everything is nice and combined. You're then going to want to add your dry ingredients, being a mix of regular old flour and cocoa powder. Just sift them in to make sure you don't have any annoying little lumps hidden in there, followed by a generous pinch of salt. Slightly less generous if you did use salted butter, and then just gently stir them in to combine them into a gorgeous, thick, gooey, almost sticky looking classic chocolate brownie batter. Then you're going to want to prepare yourself a tin. I added some butter just to help kind of grease it, and a little bit of greaseproof paper on the base and up the sides to help it be easily removed from its tin later on, before splodging all of that lovely mixture into the tin, leveling it out with a spatula or just by shattering it against your counter, whichever your mood allows for, and then baking it until evenly soft, fudgy, gooey, but also crispy at the same time. They're somehow sweet and nostalgic while also being bold in their chocolatiness. Perfect for any occasion. Hope you love them every bit as much as they deserve.